Shout out to the sponsors of the podcast, MonarchToken.io, the complete crypto solution. Monarch Wallet is now available for Android, iOS, and desktop devices today. Do you want to learn how to mine crypto? Well, all you have to do is visit cryptomining.tools for profitable crypto mining information today. The Divi Project, that is diviproject.org, your one-click solution for staking and masternodes. Earn cryptocurrency using social media platforms like SOME.social, SOMEE.social, New Era Social Media. Get paid to write reviews, like reviews, comment on reviews. Visit bravocoin.com and get paid to review. Available for Android and iOS devices. bravocoin.com. CoinFlip, the world's best Bitcoin ATM. Better service, better fees. Better visit coinflip.tech today. Shout out to the sponsor. Hey, how goes it? Ken Bozak here to talk about Bitcoin and Bitcoin accessories. And today I'm with my bro, Jose Rodriguez of Talent-Land.mx. How goes it, Jose?
I'm doing great, and you?
I'm doing awesome, bro. I actually just got a letter in the mail from one of my viewers, from my bro McLovin. And let's see what my bro sent. All right, let's see. We just got a letter. We just got a letter. We just got a letter. Oh, he sent his cult leader mail, bro. It says, "Hey Ken, cult leader," and I can't wait to read that. Bro sent me stickers. Bro, I got the swag, and these look handmade. Like, I think he fucking printed this out himself. I got my Bravo coin stickers. Oh shit, bro! He made me my own Bozak sticker.
Cool.
McLovin, bro, this is amazing. I mean, dude, these stickers are amazing. Jose, I am in love right now with McLovin. I'm loving it. Wow. Thank you so much, McLovin, for the mail. And if anybody wants to send me a package for me to open on the live stream, the address is on my Twitter feed at Kenneth Bozak. All right, Jose, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Let people know a little bit about who you are. Maybe start with before cryptocurrency and how you got into it and now what you're doing in the industry.
Yes. So I'm from Mexico. I live in Mexico City, and I worked for 14 years in stockbrokers in Mexico and the U.S. So there, I had a career for 14 years, and I did everything. I did what is called the back, middle, and front office, which is the operational side, the administration side, the business side. Um, and I ended up in a very strange place, working for one of the biggest banks in CSIS, which is the Investigation, Security, and Information Office.
Oh, wow. How was that?
Going after people that had stolen money. But
oh,
it was
my
very
kind of
interesting.
Man.
It was very interesting, but it was also very stressful and very unpleasant. Because
so you were out there catching legacy scammers, like the new era scammers we have with the Bitcoin scams. You're out there catching the fiat scammers.
Yeah, and some of them
Respect.
unfortunately went to jail, and that was the unfortunate experiences. Seeing them go to jail and confronting them in jails, because it's a horrible place.
Yeah, I mean, it never feels good to put bad people in a bad position. You just kind of wish they wouldn't do bad shit.
Yeah, I mean, the worst case was a guy that had 22 years for prison. He stole like over 200 million pesos, which is over $10 million.
That's
he was an employee.
$10 million. That's it. Dude,
yeah.
JP Morgan has stolen billions of dollars, and that dude ain't in jail. Or Jamie Dimon's running around a free man.
That's what I always tell people in Bitcoin. I'm one of the few people that has sent corrupt and people that stole money from banking into jail, because most people don't go to jail. Actually, that's true. Most of them just pay a fee or find a way to just get out of trouble and get fired. But yeah, that was my job for the last 4 years.
Respect. So how did that lead you down the rabbit hole of Bitcoin and blockchain and cryptocurrencies?
That's part of the story. So I was going crazy. So this wasn't voluntarily. So my job was something very different called international arbitrage. So what I used to do is move stocks from a country to another for very big customers. So institutional customers like investment funds or ETFs, very big customers. And so we used to move stocks from between Mexico to the United States to Europe, etc. So that was my job. I had nothing to do with this, and it all started because this guy, the one that first that I sent to jail, he was my former boss.
Oh wow, that damn.
So I was going crazy. I didn't sleep. I had to go to these unpleasant places. I had to go to the psychologists and psychiatrists because I had so many threats and so many people trying, like, don't investigate anymore because you're making us look bad that a lot of people didn't do their job. That's how he got to steal so much money. So I had a lot of enemies, a lot of pressure, pressure from regulators, pressure from the bank, which was one of the it is one of the biggest international banks in the world. So all the people for compliance, all the people now. When you get involved with the law, you also have to go with the cops. You also have, well, here in Mexico, it's called the Ministerios Públicos and to the jails to actually do the statement and confront the people and etc. So it was very stressful, and I was losing my mind. And I wanted to escape somehow because I also was there Saturdays and Sundays, so I had
Oh.
no way to go in my mind. So I was really losing my mind, and I had to go to the psychologist and psychiatrist because also when you not sleep and you have all these threats and etc., you really start losing your mind and you cannot sleep. So I said, like, this cannot be happening. I need to focus on something else. And this happened in 2012, 2013. And I remembered a friend who showed me about Bitcoin in 2011, then
Ooh.
2012, and he was talking about this stuff that he could send money, but you had no companies, you had no Coinbase, you had no blockchain.com, you had no companies. So I'm not a programmer, but he told me you're gonna understand because you understand big financial markets and complex things about financial products. So you're gonna understand this. And it was very funny when he showed me. I told him, like, it's a very interesting economic experiment. It's very good that you can send money worldwide and you don't have to trust. But what are the actual use cases? And he
Right.
told me, well, one of the Silk Road was just starting over there. And he told me, well, you can buy drugs and guns. I told him, come on, man, we're in Mexico and you live in a very hippie area. If you want drugs, I mean, you just walk to the corner and ask a guy and give them 10, $20 and he'll get it. You don't need to have use so complex things as this thing Bitcoin to get the stuff. What other things can you do? And he told me, well, international payments, and in the future there's going to be all these things, blah 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 blah. So that was very early. I didn't buy some, unfortunately, but
Oh.
I started investigating and looking at conferences and some events and conferences and meetups started taking place. And it was in 2013 when this was happening that I said, like, okay, I'm really losing my mind. I need to focus on something else. So I started my first Bitcoin companies. While all of this was happening, I opened my first Bitcoin companies in 2013.
Oh, congrats, man. Respect. Wow.
Yeah, so I had an exchange in Argentina and in Mexico. It was called Unicent. Unicent got bought in 2015 in Argentina by Ripio, which has RCN, and the
Congrats.
Mexican part.
Everyone's dream to be bought and have a good exit.
And I was a CEO of the Mexican side, so I got bought by Bitso, and that's how I started with Bitso, which is the largest exchange
Yep.
in Mexico. It just opened in Argentina and Brazil, and it has around 750,000 users right now. So it's one of the largest in Latin America. And this year it kicked off. Last year it kicked off publicly with, for example, remittances. And right now, between 2 to 5% of the remittances in Mexico goes through crypto through Bitcoin. So
Nice.
that
See,
is a
this is what
very
we
good.
need for mass adoption. Like you mentioned earlier, back in like 2011, 2012, there was no companies, no real reasonable on ramps for people to get
Yeah,
into, and not much use case outside of the Silk Road use cases. As you know, thanks for building things that help with mass adoption, especially in other countries outside of the U.S. and Europe. It's so common to see people talk about these exchanges. You don't hear so many Spanish or Mexican or whatever exchanges being like promoted or recognized on like crypto Twitter.
yeah. I mean, that's something that normally. that's what I tell people in the US. Normally, they don't see these use cases, for example, that happen in Latin America and Asia and Africa, in other what is called developing countries, because
Yes.
the use case is very different. Most people in the US just see it as an investment, and they are just talking about how they're going to report to the IRS capital gains as an investment, how they're going to hold, blah 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 blah. That's most of the people in the US. The developers obviously are doing all the technology, etc. But if you go to Latin America, for example, Argentina, Venezuela, which are the most critical places, well, currency and the financial system has failed, and it's an alternative for them. And also, they have so many controls. Mexico, fortunately, it was 1994 when we had our last big crisis. But before that, we used to have something like that. Like every 6 years, we had a huge crisis.
Yep.
Last one, like the exchange rate went up like 300% versus US dollars. So that is something that can wreck completely your economy, and that's also how I got into economy and to financials. When I was 11 years old in the last crisis, and I didn't understand like how come so many people lose so much money, and where does it all go, and how does it happen? And that's what got me into finance. And now that I see all these use cases and how Bitcoin is helping people, I mean, for some people, a dollar can make a difference of
Yep.
eating and not eating, for example, or having money for their family, or whatever. So those are the extreme cases which can be helped. What is the good thing? Well, you can receive money for anywhere in the world. You don't have these devaluations. You don't have to rely on your banks or governments, etc. What's the other bad part? What's still not bad part, but still needs to be done? The same thing. Like lots of people would like for everyone in Venezuela and Argentina and Latin America and Africa to use cryptocurrencies, but it isn't still. I mean, it has gone a long way since the years that I started, but it's still no. So it has to be more user friendly.
Yep.
More people have to be able to use it in their app with some few clicks. That's something that we have also been trying to do in Bitso and other companies, like trying to make it more simple. But for example, when I give talks about things like DeFi or DAI or stable coins or whatever, and people tell me like, "Hey, why aren't more people using this instead of their banks?" Well, this is relatively new. Like DeFi just took off the last year,
Yep.
and stable coins have been for like 2 3 years really doing some serious work, not before. And this is such a young industry still. Like people ask me like, "Am I too late?" No, man. I mean, just 11 years, Bitcoin. Most of the cryptos have between 3 to 5, no, 3 to 6 years. Most of the cryptos which have the largest cap. Some of them have been for around for 2 years. And so it's very early. And you look at the whole economy, I mean, it's 200 billion. It's not even, it's not even 1 trillion, which is roughly what is like the Mexican economy or the Italian economy. I mean, it's not even in like the top 10 economy, and this is an economy that can go worldwide.
Yep, and the benefits of being in a developing economy is volatility is something that you're relatively familiar with, but usually in a only one directional trajectory, downward
Yeah,
volatility. But when you look at volatility in cryptocurrencies coming from a developing economy, the volatility isn't so much one direction. If you zoom out, it has been very much
yeah,
so going upwards as opposed to the fiat currencies going downwards. And
yeah,
I think that's that early opportunic, risk versus reward scenario that like first world economies don't really have the privilege of. Like when people mention, "Am I too early or too late for this technology?" It's almost like everybody was using VCRs. Maybe 1% of the world was using DVD players, and then should I get a DVD player? And then eventually media started making content on DVD. It's technology takes time to be adopted, and that user interface really needs to be catered to.
yeah. And also the cool thing is it's technology. I mean, there's a lot of people that have been debating with me over the years that, oh, it cannot do this, it cannot do what a central bank does, what a bank, whatever. Now it can do, and the technology has changed. There has been a lot of debate of scaling, what is Satoshi's original vision, whatever. But at the end of the day, this is technology. It's I mean, some people take it as a religion, like you, that you're a cult leader.
Yep, I know. I definitely do take it as a religion. I believe in
I
Bitcoin. I
I
I have
I'm,
faith of blockchain.
I'm very passionate about this, but I don't think that there's only one answer, one coin, one technology that's going to have like all products and services. And now
There's
that you
one
see that,
technology, right? Not just one currency. It's
yeah,
blockchain. It's
yeah,
cryptocurrency. It's one. It's I look at this as like one military, and each branch, like the army, the navy, the marines, is Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum.
yeah. I see it like also like that. Like it has everything that a financial system has. Like you have the financial product, you also have the system, you also have the intercommunications, but you also have something very cool that anyone can build on top of it. That's something that banks have not been able to do because of the security risks. So very few have open APIs, and they have very restricted APIs. In Bitcoin, anyone can build anything. Doesn't matter your age, where are you from. If you're in Mars and you have internet connection, you can do it. If you're 10 years old, 12 years old, for example, like my kid, you can use it and start like discovering what is this, what is it different from the actual money. And that is also something that going back, that I wanted to do since the beginning. Something that I started doing also since 2013 were meetups for more people to know what was the potential of this technology. And now it has evolved. The first, yeah, it was let's say like a financial system and a currency that moved, and you could build on top. Now it's a whole financial system, and now it's an information system in which you can build
Yep.
also other technologies that don't have to do with financial, which is great.
It's
Now,
a financial
so
information system for sure.
yeah, and you're creating the real internet of value and interconnecting everyone.
So what are you doing now in the industry with like being in the space so long, having the history and the legacy financial industry that you have, bringing that all into where we're at presently? What are you doing in this space right now?
Yeah. So I have participated in many companies and startups as investor, advisor, or founder, or whatever. But right now, in this all these years, and I've got to meet a lot of people and a lot of companies that are very cool. Some are still here, some are not, some are going over. And right now, I'm still working in Bitso. I'm a partner there. I do like more the communication, PR, and like the adoption part. So for example, if for going out giving conference or media or doing workshops, I've done some workshops, for example, for banks, central banks,
Oh wow.
institutional
So how are they like when you're doing these workshops? What does it entail? Is it like how to open a wallet, how to send a transaction? I'm just curious, like what are the
No, no, no.
conversation bases?
For example, for central banks, they're interested of not on the practical use, but how is this different from the emission side, the control side, the compliance side? How do you do like more on the blockchain side? Like, why does it have value? Why do people use it? How can I audit it? How can I do a follow up for a transaction? Why doesn't this stop at like the financial system? Why is it real time? How can you build on top of it? So it's more of financial system and monetary system when what they're interested, and also like what is the potential and why is it different.
So are they trying to figure out like how to how they can use blockchain tech, or how is it they can game theory blockchain tech? Because I get worried when I look at these financial institutions investigating the industry that we're in now, and I feel
Yeah,
like I don't know if they're looking at it with a positive light or if they're looking at it with a malicious light.
yeah, it changes a lot from people. There are people that yeah actually don't like this and would like this to be shut down. There are people that I have been debating. One of them was very funny when like 2 years ago, the Mexican Central Bank hired me to give a workshop, like an eight. They hired me and they told me we want an 8 hour workshop to know everything. I'm like, okay, I'll give it to you. I normally don't do like so long workshops, but yeah, I can do it. And and it was very funny because at the end on the Q&A, I was discussing with the manager of monetary policy, and she told me like, hey, so why do people trust in this money that nobody knows who made it, nobody has control of their emission, nobody can stop it, nobody knows who's behind. I'm not and like and it can be printed like infinitely. And like, okay, hold on. Are you talking about the US dollar or the Mexican peso?
Right, right. It
Everyone
sounded a
started
lot like
laughing
they're
and she
talking
got
about fiat.
yeah, because this thing up till now it's limited. It's completely transparent. You can audit it in real time, which is something that you cannot do in financial
You know
markets. I
what
mean,
though?
it
That
has to be looked at.
misconception of it being infinitely printable is because of the forking aspect of Bitcoin. That's where I think the legacy financial perspective sees forking as more of a
Yeah,
stock split, as an
yeah,
infinite split of dividends, right?
yeah. That's right. But at the end of the day, you look like how many forks have Bitcoin at? Like 50? How many are valuable? Like 5?
Yeah, maybe two ish.
Uh-huh.
The other ones are sell value.
And I'm not only talking about the ones that have the same name as Bitcoin. I'm talking about the others that fork it and do like their own version.
Doge.
I mean, yeah,
Doge is a fork of Bitcoin.
and that's what I tell people.
Litecoin.
When I started in 2013, for example, I mined Doge, and there were like 10, 15 cryptos, and most of them were copies of Bitcoin, Litecoin, Dogecoin, and you had Namecoin, for example, which
Oh,
was the
remember
only one that was doing
Namecoin.
something different, but
Rest
it
in
was also a fork
peace.
of Bitcoin. Yeah,
Yeah, Namecoin was a really cool concept. I thought that,
and it was the first one that was trying to do something
yep,
different.
was actually trying to
Also,
build something that wasn't just a direct competition for Bitcoin as a
yeah,
currency.
and
Yeah.
Peercoin, which was starting with proof of stake.
Yeah, they were one of like the first utility as a service type tokens or coins.
Yeah,
Yeah, man,
and
that's crazy. Like, wow, I forgot all about Namecoin. Like, the time moves so fast in this space, you almost
yeah,
forget about like the fallen blockchain projects that have, really left us on the edge of our seats, and we just forgot we were sitting there.
yeah, and right now, I mean, you see thousands in crypto, thousands of use cases. Some
Yep.
of them are not even financial. And well, going back to what I do, other thing that I started doing in 2013 was doing conferences, meetups, and bringing more people that like this and that wanted to know about this. That's how I started building communities here in Mexico and Latin America. And well, I've done over 100 meetups, conferences, like organized it
Respect.
with Bitso by myself,
Same.
whatever. Yeah. I also, yeah, gone to different events, like talking about what we talk right now, like different use cases, like how does it feel, for example, with how does it fit with my previous experience of stock markets and financial markets, and that's how I got into also Talent-Land. So Talent-Land, it's their third year, but before that, the team had done the event, had done another event for like 10 years, and that event it started with like 2,000, 3,000 people, and on the last year it went up to 12,000 people.
Oh wow.
And Bitso had been participated since 6 years ago, doing we did conferences, workshops, and also sponsored. And then Talent-Land started 3 years ago with a different concept, and they started with the blockchain land as a stage. Well, first it was blockchain stage, and now it's blockchain land. So the the event is the biggest event in Latin America. Last year, 62,000 people from 18 countries came.
Wow.
We have a
Congratulations.
yeah,
Wow.
we have a main stage which feeds 2,000
What?
people. We have 9 stages, 5 main stages, which fit 600 people, which are developer land, gamer land, business land, and I
What?
remember the other. And we have the new lands, which are uh, future land, blockchain land, which are not as big, but it is an event by itself. I mean, the stage fits 180 people seated. You can fit other 100 people around, and then behind the stage you have tables for communities, workshops, and whatever, where you can fit 200 people. So the stage can fit around 400 people over there. Plus, aside from that, we have spaces for sponsors, communities, workshops, whatever. So it's each stage is like an event by itself.
Right. So Talent Land isn't just like a Bitcoin or blockchain event. It's an
No,
event with like these other events all within it.
yeah. So we have the 9 stages
So
going
it's
at
like a
once,
Burning Man for talent.
24 hours, 5 days
What?
of workshops, hackathon, challenges, party, uh, conferences, panels of different themes. And yeah, for example, last year we had Randy Zuckerberg, we had Gary Kasparov, This year we have Edward Snowden. He's going to be a
Saw
fireside
that.
chat because he cannot be physically here, unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
We're also going to have Ricardo Salinas Pliego, which is one of the richest people in the world and one of the richest in Mexico. By the way, he has been a Bitcoin and blockchain and Ethereum investor since 2014. He was one of the early ones. He's
Okay.
very pro Bitcoin.
So
He's also one of the
he's a legacy whale and he's a
yeah
crypto whale.
yeah, and he is one of the richest ones in Mexico with banks and remittances companies and lots of things.
So when you
We
say
also
like
have
rich guy in Mexico, the first thing that come to my mind is like cartel. But obviously that's
no.
probably not the case. But you
uh,
know, he owns banks and stuff like that. I'm just curious, you know, like is that sketchy, right? To be like owning banks and being involved so deeply
no,
in
like
cryptocurrency?
he has the biggest TV channel in Mexico, so the biggest TV producer, and his first some of his business are TV, movies, banking, and he also has Electra, which is like for middle and low class people to go and buy clothes. So that is one of a very successful business in Latin America. And inside of everyone, he has a bank and a remittance company
Is he going to be at
in all
the
Latin America.
blockchain land or the future land of
I'm
Talent-Land?
gonna try to have him in blockchain land. He's gonna be on main stage,
Of
and
course.
also in main stage we're gonna have Max Kaiser from Kaiser Report and Stacy Fairbright.
Respect. Shout out to Max Kaiser, boy. Get that Kaiser
Yeah,
coin.
yeah, and I mean he has been a very good friend, and so has Stacy since 2014 when they interviewed me for the first time.
Same.
And
Ever since I met Max and Stacy, they have been nothing but amazing people to
yeah,
me. I got
they're
to hang
awesome.
out with them in New York City at some like bougie suit and tie event, and I was in my pajamas, and nobody batted an eye because Max and me were being, you know, buddies. So like, Max is a bro for sure.
Yeah, he's great. He has come a lot of times to Mexico, and it's very funny because the first time he came to Mexico, because you hear all this noise and media like, yeah, Mexico is a war zone, and he
I'm
when
not
he
gonna
arrived,
lie, that mainstream media is the only reason I've never been to an Anarchapulco event. I've never
oh, and
gone.
Acapulco is in 3 weeks, man. You should come. It's also a big and interesting conference, and then you can stay until April.
So the Talent Land is in April, I believe, 13th through the 17th.
Yeah, 13th to 17th of April. As you say, like tickets are very cheap for
Oh,
what
they
we
are,
give.
guys. I mean, the VIP ticket I looked up, it looks expensive in MX, you know, but in
But you have to
USD,
divide
it's
it like by
relative.
20.
Yeah, it's relatively affordable. I was like, how much is 17,000 or 1,700 MX? And it was like $75 US.
Yeah, and we also have camping. So 8,000 people stayed last year in our
This
camping
is what
area.
I'm
So
saying,
we
dude. You're doing Burning Man for blockchain. This is epic.
and so 8,000 people stayed in in the tent. So we convert the Expo Guadalajara, the place in which is the biggest venue in Latin America, and we convert the whole parking lot into our camping area.
That is awesome.
So we're expecting for this year 70,000 people. We have 10 stages, including the main stage, and we also have some other stages. We have Talent Woman, which is an event that we also do, in which we have entrepreneurs and CEOs that are women or people or women that are doing cool stuff. We also have one called Superpowers for people to develop their skills. So that's also other stages that we have beside the lands. So there's a lot to do during the whole week, and you can have talks, conferences, maybe going Tuesday 2 in the morning, or Thursday 10 at night. So there's so much content going on, and there's so much things to do that you can go to any stage and look and have interesting information for you to go home. And it's also great because most of the people that go are young, between 18 to 30 years. So average age is 24. So for some of them, is the first experience they have with all of these technologies, and they get bombarded this whole week. And many people, once they go once, they go every year, and are waiting for the event the whole year and looking at the agenda and what they're gonna do, and they come up to us and tell us like, this was a life changing experience for us, like change careers, do something different, becoming an entrepreneur or going into a different industry, which is something very cool.
Right.
And we also have uh, one of the biggest hackathons in the
Yo,
world.
I just fell in love with hackathons. Like, I am so in love with what they are. Like, the embodiment of a hackathon, and the
Yeah,
ethos of it is just
yeah,
so pure, and I just love hackathons.
yeah. We have. I mean, it's so fun. They from Monday to Thursday they have to like we have challenges which are before the event. Like every company like can issue a challenge.
Oh,
Each
bounties,
sponsor,
like a bounty program.
yeah, each sponsor can do it. Can be programming, it could be marketing, it could be business development, whatever you want. And during the week we have the hackathon. Last year in hackathon and challenges we had 5,300 people, which is one of the biggest in the world. And the team has the Guinness World Record for the biggest hackathon in the world, which they did 4 years ago. Each year we try to break at least one Guinness World Record. Last year we broke with IBM the biggest programming class in the world, which had like 900 people during the class, and it was certified by Guinness World Record. We also tried to break the biggest math class, but that was 8,000 people, and some of the people like go to the bathroom, fall asleep, get distracted. We got disqualified for that one, but we had the attempt, but we broke one. This year we're gonna announce another Guinness World Record that we're gonna break. So there's so much things, and it's so fun that they first invited me as a volunteer for them to bring in the content for Blockchain Land 3 years ago, and also Bitso we were sponsors. For example, we did the launch of our app, we did the launch of our wallet there in main stage, and since last year. Bitso has also become a part of being one of the main sponsors for Blockchain Land, and being there and giving talks
Is
and
there a
and
is there a job fair or something? Because it sounds like there's a really good
yes,
opportunity for like internships, and
right.
because every time I go to a conference, there's companies looking for developers and there's developers looking for work, and
Yeah.
they never seem to find each other in the middle of the room, and I seem to meet them all.
Yes, we have a place for jobs. That's one of the Guinness World Records that we want to break soon, which is having the most hires in a week. I mean, we still have to work on that, but we have part of that is Talent-Land because we develop talent skills and we bring all these speakers, workshops, sponsors, hackathons to bring all this knowledge together. So that is something that we want to do and are very interested. And we have an app in which you can, for example, all of our sponsors and allies can put job postings, and also we do a profile for each one of the people. So we have a database of over 1 million people, and we have a reach of over 5 million people through all our social networks and newsletters. So part of what we do is for our sponsors and our communities and our allies, they can post jobs and they're going to apply for the jobs. So because there's so much people there, um, that is the opportunity, and a lot of people from HR goes. For example, last year in Bitso we had 3 people from HR, and one of the objectives was hiring developers and people for business development. So a lot of companies go there, for example, and sponsor the hackathon or do chats to look for talent too.
Yeah, so guys, if you're looking for, getting your foot in the door, whether it be a content creator, a developer, business management, whatever the case may be, whatever you're doing right now, 9 to 5, you could go to Talent Land and find the similar 9 to 5 position in a newer industry. That way you're not
Yeah.
like a blockbuster clerk trying to figure out how to get a job at Netflix.
Or in
It's
a cool startup, or even working remotely. And for I mean, we have like over 300 companies over there from all sizes. We have Google, Facebook, IVM, and we also have early stage startups.
IBM's
So that is
really hungry for blockchain developers. I've
yeah,
seen recently a lot of developers I know, like personally, just recently in the past 3 months, got a job with IBM.
yeah. IBM and Accenture are one of like the companies that are trying to develop something besides talking about it,
Yep.
and they're also one of the main sponsors of the event. And that is also very cool because you get to know all these companies. And we also have something very cool. I mean, there's so much things going on, but we also have a thing called Startup Garden. So if you know someone that has an early stage startup that probably cannot pay a sponsorship but want to have a space over there and showcase their company, we're going to showcase 200 startups in each one of the 10 lands for two
Nice.
days. So if you have, I'm going to send you the links. So if you have a early stage startup, or you have a non-for-profit or a startup that wants to showcase to all of our community, we're going to give you a space for 2 days during the event too.
Yeah, that's amazing. I know a few startups that could use some recognition. It's funny. I was at the Miami Blockchain Week event, and there were so many amazing projects and startups that I never heard about. And then there's all these projects like Kick, ICO. Everybody's familiar with. It does nothing. It did nothing. It was a big scam, but it's all the scams that get the notoriety and like the recognition. And it's a lot of
Yeah,
these people that are actually doing something. Unfortunately, because it's not a pump and dump or clickbait, they don't get enough attention and
yeah,
recognition. So I'm happy that you're giving startups a chance to sort of get the light shined on them for once. I'm just
yeah.
curious though, is there like a fee associated with this? Like, how do people get on stage? Is there like,
No,
if I'm a startup, do I have to pay to get on the stage or?
no. Oh, okay. If you want to be in this area that's called Startup Garden, it's free. So we give you an entrance, so you won't have to pay to get in, and you get a space for those 2 days. And we also put your logo and promote your company.
Wow.
So that is something that is also very valuable if you're really starting and you normally have to pay a lot of money or get to know people or whatever.
Yeah,
So
that's why
we
we
also
don't get to
push
know
them.
startups. They don't have the
Yeah,
money to do it, and if they do, they're probably dumping the market on somebody because they
yeah.
have the money.
Yeah, so we want to push them, startups from all the different lands, and also for them, for all this medium and large companies to get to know them and know how can they interact with all these different companies and build something together, which is also creating this relationship. Probably you're a very early stage, but in 1 2 years you're gonna be a fit, or you're gonna be a provider, or you're gonna show there's something, or you're gonna they're gonna be your investment. So that is also somewhere also to do some networking of all type. You can have the developer, the business developer, the investor, government. You can have big companies, small companies. So it's also a good place for you
I
to.
think it's really cool that you're doing a free event inside of an event, and I always think that that's important. Like a lot of conferences I go to, everything is you have to be, a paid ticket holder. You have to have a ticket to the
Yeah,
conference to go to anything. And I'm like, well, there's local people that live in the area that just may
yeah,
not be willing to be, oh, I'll even $75 may be too much or whatever, but
yeah.
free. How do you turn down free?
Yeah, we give a lot of also what we call scholarships, which is like can be on 20 off, 50 off, 80 off, for people to go to the event. Also, a lot of, for example, local governments are very interested. I mean, some of the few things that governments are doing is pushing events like this for more people. So they bring buses of people full, and they pay their entrances in local governments for people to come and see what are the new trends.
So
So
it's
you
like,
can
is it
have
like a
people from
tourist write off? Is that why? Like they need the tourist boom. It's like an event. Like this happens with like the Olympics and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, I mean, and the other side for them, it's like justifying like their tech and entrepreneurship side and their budget. But for us, it's like all these new people that probably won't have been able to go there. And there are a lot of companies and government that do that, which is really cool. They rent like buses and come from all over the country and bring people or bring their team. So that is also very cool. And so you have everything there. You have startups, companies, you have communities, you have nonprofits, you have government, you have everything going on there for the whole week. So also, if if someone is interested in being one of our allies, or we also have spaces for communities. If you know a community, a Bitcoin or blockchain community that is interested in coming to the event, if they promote the event, we can give them entrances for them and for their communities.
Awesome.
So, for example, we have different communities here in Mexico in different states, and we they only have to prove that they are going to the event, that they did a community, and they have been promoting, and they are actually a Bitcoin and blockchain community. Only some proof, and we can give them entrance too for free. I mean, we want to have everyone over there on board.
Wow. I'm just curious. Like, you're mentioning like government and everything. Coming in and promoting and supporting these cryptocurrency and blockchain events. What's the atmosphere like when it comes to like government and ICOs or IEOs or STOs? These alphabetical lettered investment opportunities. Here in the
Yeah,
U.S., it's all like demonized. It's all become
yeah.
very taboo to be involved with an ICO. Is the Mexican government or the financial industry still like ICOs are scam or bad,
Yeah.
or do they see potential in this?
Yeah, like most are have the perception of a scam because actually, let's be honest, most of them were actual scams.
Facts.
So yeah, that's the reputation they made. But being strict, like in the U.S., most of our financial regulation is similar to the U.S. So it's strictly illegal for people to do a public offering like an ICO and get money. So it's strictly illegal. But we didn't have as many ICOs like in the U.S. In Mexico, there was like 20 ICOs. They haven't been harassed like in the states or made them pay their money back. Some of them should pay them back, but well, that's
All of
another
them,
topic.
probably,
Most of
right? I
them,
mean, yeah, most of them.
most of them. But there is a regulation in Mexico which is called the fintech law. So something that we did since the beginning, I did the first meeting with the Mexican Central Bank in the beginning of 2014. So I went with Pablo, which is one of the co-founders of Bitso. I went with another guy that used to have an exchange that's no longer there, and the few people that I knew that knew about Bitcoin and blockchain. So we went over there. Since 2014 until 2018, we had been knocking doors. We had been trying for have this regulated. At the end, Mexico is one of the few countries with a fintech law, which is a law that regulates peer-to-peer lending, digital wallets, and we were gonna be part of that law, but at the end they took us out and they only placed us like a digital wallet. So there is a law, but it's just starting. Uh, they asked for licenses, and we have, most of the companies applied for licenses, but they still haven't publicly given any license out. So also working with government, and we had a presidential change about a year ago, and everyone changes that delays everything. There's a lot of people and regulators that have been looking into this technology, which are very pro in this technology and look at the good stuff, and also look at what's happening in other countries. But there are also some other people that are, for example, above 50 years of age and have had a career their whole life in a central bank, which have a lot of resistance to this technology. And normally, those are the people that do the public policy.
Well, it's
So those
interesting.
are the guys that we need to convince and we have to work with. But well, we got the regulation out, and Bitso got regulated also in Gibraltar for the crypto part.
Regulations make me think about those 20 ICOs that you're talking about there in Mexico that didn't really have to do any paying back. Well, the regulations are fairly new, like you mentioned, and I don't think they'll
Yep.
be grandfathered out of the regulations implemented into the industries. They'll go back 5 years from now and start to arrest, or 10 years from now, whatever the case may be. You're not going to be able to get away with things like this as regulations are
Yeah.
developed. They'll go back and enforce the regulations, sort of like a friggin' time machine.
Yeah. Like they're doing in the US. I mean, they're going back and asking for people either you
Yep.
give the money back or you're going to jail.
Absolutely, and a lot of people are moving out of country. A lot of
Yeah.
people, like the scammer Rhett who did the Z Classic Bitcoin private pump and dump scam. He moved to Puerto Rico, so he didn't have to worry about the U.S. Regulations. But I feel like the United Nations will eventually come to an agreement on blockchain and fintech regulations, and no matter where you try to run and hide, 10, 20, 50 years from now, you will be arrested.
Yeah, and also something very interested about the technology and the regulation. I mean, besides scam was very unfortunate, but it's creating these use cases in which you make crypto and Bitcoin completely invisible. So you're really making it part of the system and part of the flow, and eliminating intermediaries. So, for example, the use case that I talked in the beginning, the remittances, you're taking so many intermediaries, systems, costs, risks away using this technology. And I mean, that is also part of what is going to bring all this value. I mean, you're going to be using Bitcoin, blockchain, Ethereum, whatever, and you're not going to be handling it. It's going to be underneath the system, and you're not going to have to even MetaMask, which is something very, let's say, it's one of the most friendly ones. It's still complex
Yep.
for most people. So it's going to be running underneath the hood, and you're not gonna be even knowing that you're using Bitcoin or blockchain, whatever. I mean, many people like us are gonna be using it, and still, and there's gonna be more adoption.
Well,
More
yeah, there's
people are
still
gonna get
people that
into it.
use Linux. You know, like
Yeah,
Windows made that interface a lot easier for people. People that were around for that legacy or for early adoption of the technology. The early adopters probably still opt to use the more complex hands-on approach. Like a lot of us will probably in the future make our own wallets because it's not that difficult now to build your own wallet. It will be a lot less difficult moving forward. You won't
yeah,
have to use the Monarch wallet or a name brand wallet. You could make your own wallet moving forward, or you could use somebody else's.
yeah. And also something that is, I mean, if you want to go full crypto, like
Like me.
once you have the experience, once you have the experience and you've used it 2 3 times, you get to know that it's not that hard to use. Now then is when you start going down, and
Yep.
then you start going into the blockchain and confirmations and wallets and everything, no? But when you start and you just like, okay, this is like your bank account, you send your money here, you can watch how it's done, and blah, and you have that first experience. After that, people get more familiar and can start developing all this knowledge also by themselves, and also having someone that already knows about this in case they did a mistake or they don't know how to do something, etc. But once you get like those 2 3 doubts and you have made them have the experience, I mean, it's like riding a bike.
Yep. It really is, and I like that. The concept for like Dogecoin, right? It's like give your mom some Dogecoin, let her play around with it. If she
Yeah,
loses it, who cares? Because
yeah,
it's just Dogecoin. Like it's a couple pennies. It's not like a couple bucks, and you're not gonna look back at the couple dollars you messed up a transaction with in Doge and be like, oh, the world. 10 years ago, even if you lost $1 in Bitcoin, you're looking back and hitting yourself in the head for it.
yeah. I invited some guys that are doing a very cool application called CoinKit. So
Hmm.
CoinKit, you can tip through Twitter, and you can also monetize tweets.
Oh, cool.
So it's very cool because they integrate. They have Binance Coin. They have their own coin called TCC that is no value, but it's also to develop the system. And they also have a Dogecoin. So most of the tipping is done by Digibyte, Dogecoin, and Trezor Coin, which is the native coin. And like you said, like you can tip people. The minimum, for example, monetization and tip is 5 Doge.
Yeah.
So you can tip someone 5 Doge, and that's it. So I like what those guys are doing. I used to use Change Tip. Did you use it?
I use a couple different tip bots. Right now,
Okay,
I think a Go Seed with the Tron tokens is like probably one of the most popular ones I use with like
okay,
nudes. There's a nudes TRC20.
okay. Yeah. So I'm talking with these guys also to bring him over because it's very cool. Because what they do is also bring crypto into, for example, Twitter. So you can tweet, you
Yep.
can monetize, and they did the integration. So it's all done through a chatbot. So I want more people in the hackathon to know what these
Yeah.
guys did,
And
how they
Bill,
do it, how can they do something, or how can they build on top of
yeah,
it.
exactly. If this, then that protocols for things that exist are really interesting. It's like something already exists, but I'm going to build on top of it that has like this chain of events that you never saw when you built the thing I'm building on top of. And have you
Yeah.
ever heard of Dropbit?
Drop bit.
They're very
Uh,
similar. I sent Andrew Yang for his birthday. I sent him $5 in Bitcoin, and it was through Dropbit. So I just sent it to his Twitter account. He gets a direct message and says, "Hey, click here to claim the Bitcoin that you were just given." If and he did not claim it, unfortunately, but if somebody doesn't claim the Bitcoin or the tip in say 5 days, you actually get your money back. So it's not just like lost and sitting there
okay.
because nobody actually claimed the tip.
Yeah, and I mean that's also a way for people to see like what else can you do with this technology. I mean, you integrate Twitter, chatbot, blah blah blah, and then
Yep.
instant
I could send
monetization.
I
Like,
could send little Dicky 1 Bitcoin and maybe he'll take the Bitcoin and I could
yeah,
be the person that got a famous rapper into Bitcoin.
yeah. So yeah, I mean that's also what I want to bring together in blockchain land. First, people that are building cool stuff, um, companies that are doing cool stuff, and companies that are doing interesting and new stuff, and also companies that have opportunity to interact with the other sponsors and lands.
Yeah,
So, for
exactly.
example, some of the speakers and sponsors that we have are tell us like, for example, we're a business to business. We're not a retail customer, so probably we don't want a booth. What we're interested in is having a meeting with IBM and this other
Yes,
startups and whatever.
exactly.
Yeah,
It's almost
and
like
also it's
a business incubator retreat.
yeah, and it's also that part when it's not because they normally it's always it's always the same people in the conferences and
Yeah,
blah 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 and the
exactly,
same topics,
exactly.
and this is only part of the event, and you can go and see
Well,
like
that's what I like.
what
It's
is
not an
going on in the
echo
whole world.
chamber. It's not just a Bitcoin or blockchain event. An entire industry encompassing event with tech, media, entertainment, uh, blockchain, financial, whatever the case may be. It's all
Yeah,
under one umbrella, and it's going to have a lot of cross pollination. You may have
yeah. We even have
entertainment, and they wander into the blockchain. And they can think of ways to have entertainment and blockchain technology because they're used to the issues at hand. People that build
yeah
in
we
blockchain are building solutions for things they don't even have or things that aren't even in existence yet. They're trying to solve problems that they don't even know about. And you know,
yeah.
other industries wandering in, seeing a hammer and going, I've been using a screwdriver to bang in a hammer this whole time. Like, oh my God, there's better tools for building.
Yeah, and I mean that's something that it's very cool, and also once again this is so new still. I mean, there's so much to develop, so much to do. I mean, this industry still has to go to $1 trillion,
Yeah, we're at
and
56K dial up right now when it
a
comes to
trillion
Bitcoin.
dollar legit, not ICO pump of a month, but a legit $1 trillion industry. I mean, valuation for me, I have to do some numbers, but I think valuations is getting there of all the companies in the industry, but not the industry by itself. But I mean, for me, it's like that potential that it still has to grow. It's so little.
Right.
$200 billion. I mean, I was having this chat with a friend that was a lawyer also from financial markets this weekend, and he told me like, no, Bitcoin's already so blah blah. Blah. And I go, man, you know stock markets. You know how much stocks are worth like me. This is only $200 billion.
Right, right, exactly. It's so weird to say only $200 billion, but that's the reality of it. It's still a
I mean, right
baby.
now, when I started in 2013 my company, remember it was the first time that it went to $1 billion. The
Yeah,
whole cryptos were $1 billion for the
I
first
remember
time.
I was in it when it hit 100. I was like, oh wow! And now it's sort of like the reality sets in. Until we hit that trillion, we really don't have the respect of the financial industries from the fiat errors. Like they're not giving us the respect that we deserve because we don't have the market cap for their attention.
Yeah, and also for the, I mean, for the other side too, like for the investors. I mean, it's a small, risky industry still, but it's not that young, and we're starting to see these big companies actually creating and converting into big companies, and what would be the equivalent of a financial group, for example, for Coinbase or Binance or all these companies that have the biggest valuations and the most employees. You're seeing now starting with the acquisitions to
Yep,
going to different countries and different industries, which is
yep.
also very cool. Like, what else can we do this? What other new use cases can be done? What can actually be solved?
Yeah, right. I think it was Goldman Sachs or Circle that acquired Poloniex for $300 million or something to
Yeah,
that effect. Yeah, the legacy financial industry is trying their best to buy up. You saw like Visa, Mastercard, like purchasing transactional patents for blockchain and cryptocurrency, like e-commerce, like domain squatting. They're just buying patents out the wazoo, and they're not doing anything with them,
yeah.
unfortunately.
And also that's something very interesting. Like, normally people ask me like, so where are banks going to get in? And most banks have been investors since 2015.
Facts.
Most banks are behind institutional funds like DCG or Pantera. And that's where you have Visa, Goldman Sachs, Mastercard, Western Union, etc. That's where they invest in this all these institutional funds that do the work. They don't invest normally directly. They do it through these funds to, I mean, mitigate a little bit of the
Yep.
risk and diversify. But I mean, since 2014 they started investment. Since 2015, most financial companies in the world and most banks and financial groups are inside this.
Yeah, we've even here in the U.S. we've heard news. I don't even think it's rumors anymore. I'm pretty sure it's been fact checked. It's news at this point that government legs have been mining Bitcoin for since forever. Like they've been just using the taxpayers' money, the electricity, the government resources to mine cryptocurrencies, whether it be legitimate or employees illegally using the resources to mine. You have like somebody working at the SEC just plugs in a flash drive into the mainframe, starts mining Bitcoin on it because it's so powerful. They're getting caught doing this. They are interested. They are getting in, whether it be directly or indirectly with these patents. They're not going to let this skate by, but they don't want to pump it. They don't want to promote their direct competition until they have that footing where they won't miss out either way. And I look at banks more of like nodes. I feel like they're going to have these lightning channels to facilitate huge transactionals of Bitcoin from exchange to exchange. If you want to move 100,000 Bitcoin through the Lightning network, you're going to use a trusted network. You're going to use Wells Fargo's Lightning channel for Poloniex to send 100,000 Bitcoin to Binance and use Lightning to do it. So these banks are getting in, but they're doing it silently.
Yeah, that's also something very funny that we had like in all these years with regulators. Like most of the employees in regulators and central banks actually are, for example, Bitso users or have had Bitcoin or have saved or have experienced with them. They most like them. It's only like once again like the people that are in the policymakers and the people above 50 that don't like it. But I mean, it's going to be a generational leap. Eventually, those people are gonna get retired, and these people that have been experimenting will get into the part of the decision making and policy making.
I literally had a conversation with Johnny Dollar. Shout out to Johnny Dollar in Miami about this. It's if you look at every technological adoption, it is the age out of the generation before. We're just gonna have to wait a couple years for the people that have no clue or never used, like maybe 40 years from now, the people will age out. They'll die off. The dinosaurs will be gone, and the oldest generation at that time will be us. The early adopters of Bitcoin will be the oldest generation alive. That is when we will actually be able to foresee mass adoption. We can't force dinosaurs to drive a fucking Ferrari, even though the Ferrari is amazing. The dinosaur is these little tiny arms, and he just can't figure it out. And it brings me to a point, and I have this right here. I saved this for my last question, wrap up topic, because you have the legacy financial perspectives, and you have the futuristic mindset of blockchain. Well, when we talk about banks and silently getting into crypto and not talking blah blah blah, Peter Schiff recently just posted the other day, and this has been going viral. Peter Schiff, he lost his private keys, or he's claiming that his wallet forgot his password. Yeah. Now, Peter Schiff has been talking shit on Bitcoin since I can remember, saying Bitcoin's a scam, it's not worth anything, and now all of a sudden, he owns Bitcoin that he lost. I'm just curious, like, have you ever heard of a wallet forgetting a password?
No, that's absurd.
It would be like your Ferrari forgetting your key.
Yeah, and that's it. Actually, on Saturday when I was with this friend, he told me like, okay, I've known you for so many years, and I've never had some Bitcoin. Like, okay, man, I'll give you $10 in Bitcoin. And he told me like, no, man, I have much more money. I can give you a lot of money and send it right now. I told me, no, you're a little bit drunk right now. You won't remember. And the same thing that happened to Peter Schiff could have happened to this guy. So no, I've had that experience before in which you give to people, they forgot something, it's their first experience. It's not always like the best experience. It should be having a wallet and for people to get to know, because he told me like, okay, so where's the bank? So where's my bank account? Who's my account holder? Who's my account executive? I'm like, no, man.
It's
if
all
you have these words, if you have these words, doesn't matter if you go out 10 years to an island and come back, you'll be able to have this money back. I mean, that's something of the magic of Bitcoin and blockchain. So as a first experience, I wouldn't tell people to have a wallet only to experiment, not to put your personal
why do you think Peter Schiff did not back up his private key? Why didn't Peter Schiff write it down and split it up?
I mean, he didn't care at the moment. And what was very bad is that a lot of people sent Bitcoin out to that address. So let's say that if he does really do not recover that, like those bitcoins were burned, or it's like
Yeah,
some of those
basically.
bitcoins that are not gonna be back forever. But I mean, that's some of the parts. Like, it's not very good to have as a first experience a wallet in which you control your private keys if you have never done something like that, and if you are not familiar or have done something, because that is something that can
Hey,
happen
I'm
and has
sure
happened.
Peter Schiff is very used to custodial services. I have no clue why Peter Schiff wouldn't use a custodial service for Bitcoin because he's an idiot. He uses custodial services for fiat and he promotes and supports the custodial
Yeah.
aspect of fiat. Why wouldn't he make 6% on his Bitcoin holdings using a custodial service that is
Yeah.
insured by BitGo like Celsius Network?
Yeah, I mean that Celsius is also going to be part in Talent-Land.
Oh, really? Alex Machinsky's going to be there?
No, not him. Let me. Okay, I'll tell you who.
Yeah, yeah, I love
Uh.
Celsius Network. Alex
Me too.
Machinsky is one of my heroes outside of Bitcoin.
Oh,
Forget Bitcoin. Alex Machinsky is a hero of mine.
I'll tell you who. Because I mean, I've invited Celsius, which I like. I also have invited Compound, but haven't have an answer. If you know someone in Compound, it would be great also having them
Mm.
over there. Uh, but we're gonna have Celsius, and I'm also speaking with BlockFi.
Yo, my buddy in the chat said Alex Machinsky is the Elon Musk of crypto. Facts. Absolute facts. That is a
um,
perfect analogy.
it's gonna be Daniel Leon.
Oh, you know what? He my I can't here it's Totinium. I'm sorry, I'm dyslexic. It says it seems that Eric Voorhees was the one that created the wallet for Peter Schiff.
Yep.
Didn't care how it worked. He had the password but did not have the seed. Damn dinosaurs. Yes. So I mean they create a BIP 138 encryption on top of your private key, like a username, password kind of login, is and I think it was Vitalik Buterin who tweeted this earlier, and he's a fucking idiot. Fuck you, Vitalik, saying that we need to dumb this down for the dinosaurs. No, the dinosaurs are responsible for writing down their seed phrase. End of story. The more
Well,
security that you add to this, the more that you try to take away from the personal responsibility, the more exploits, the more security vulnerabilities you create. So it's not that we have to make this safer. We have to make people smart enough to use the safety features that exist.
yeah. I mean, I agree with you, but I mean, being realistic, you need the both of the services. I mean,
No,
when
no,
you,
those dinosaurs, I'm telling you, they'll die out and we will be the
but
oldest
they're not only the
generation.
dinosaurs. Like, there's a lot of people that use Bitso, and they actually tell me, like, Bitso is my bank, and I want to leave my money there. And he told me, like, no, man, the best option. I mean, for us, it's a risk handling so many bitcoins. It's best for you to know how to do security by yourself. It brings out less risk, whatever. But there's a lot of people that don't want to do it and will never do it. They tell me, no, I want Bitso to be my bank forever. I want Bitso to be my custodial services. There's people that actually don't want that, and we told them the risks that involves. And I mean, it, there can be some risks that are outside our hands, like a regulatory risk, like for example, a government saying like no one can hold more than $1,000 in Bitcoin in an exchange, and they freeze. I don't know, something crazy like that.
Yep.
Something that is outside of your hands. That's some of the risks of custodial
And
service.
that could change,
But
right? The custodial services, that could change. It could go from 1,000 to 100 overnight, and next thing you know,
yeah,
your funds are frozen. It happened with Binance.
yeah,
Binance kind
but
of like left the U.S. Abruptly, and there was an issue with withdrawing now overnight.
yeah. And I mean that's also both sides have their risks. I agree with you that the best way is for you to get to know how to use the technology and for you to be responsible of your own money.
You
But
know
on the
what?
other
That's
side, you
funny.
have
Somebody in the chat just said, I think it's probably a fake losing access. The whole thing's just, for attention. He'll probably say, oh, I found the keys. Look at me. I'm so smart. I fixed Bitcoin. Like, you're right.
well,
It's probably a publicity stunt for sure. and maybe he wants to get on like CNBC Fast Money to talk about how he
Yeah.
fixed Bitcoin when he finds his figure, whatever he's gonna do to fix it.
His biggest interactions in social networks is when he speaks about Bitcoin.
Yep, yeah. Nobody else
Most
listens to
people
him. Nobody
knows
cares.
and
Nobody
follows him
engages.
in the last 2 years because of Bitcoin and Bitcoin trolling or trolling him than because they're interested in the gold
All the
services.
Bitcoin he has is from donations that he lost. It's not even his money. That's why he didn't
Yeah,
care.
yeah.
Big
And
facts.
going back, and now that you speak to donations, that also is a big and very interesting use case that you can do with Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies that enables that you cannot do with anything. Uh, just like in 2017, we had this big earthquake here in Mexico, for example, and we did a donation campaign, and we received like about 1.4 million pesos, which is around $80,000 in donations from all over the world in Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ripple,
Whoa.
and Ethereum. And we were showing to the regulators like you can see in real time all the wallets. You can see in real time everything that we're receiving. You can see everything. It's so open and transparent, and everyone can look at what is going on. And that happened just after Agustin Carstens, who was the head of the Mexican Central Bank, who is currently the head of the Bank of International Settlements, said that the main use case and the main use case for Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies was going to what is called giros negros, which are illegal places where you have slavery or where you
Whoa.
buy illegal drinks or drugs, whatever. Like this ghettos places that he said like that's the main use case for Bitcoin. I'm like, no man, like you don't even have an idea of what Bitcoin is being used for. And that like 2 months after that, we did this, and that became the biggest use case in Mexico at the time, the donation in cryptocurrencies. Like,
Yep, my buddy Tommy Mustache on Twitter, Mustache Tommy, he's raising cryptocurrency, I believe, for Venezuela or something. I'm trying to find it right now on Twitter. Here we go. Trying to find it. I can't remember exactly where, but the public aspect of it, and where the funds are going and all that. It's a whole. It feels so much better than just giving $1 to the Red Cross.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. We right now a company contacted me about 2 weeks ago that have a wallet, but they also have a non-for-profit for education in Venezuela. They're Venezuelans in
Yeah,
the
Patcoin does a lot for charity and stuff like that in Venezuela.
and they're coming over. He told me like, "Hey, could you help me promote the non-for-profit if we sponsor with the other company?" I'm like, even if you don't sponsor, I mean, non-for-profit for people teaching them how to use crypto. Come on, and
Patcoin
this is
is
a
probably
place.
one of the best crypto charity kind of companies I've come across. I've found a few of them, but Patcoin does a lot, and they're working with Manny Pacquiao right now as well, doing like a really big
Okay,
like outside of the cryptocurrency environment, but they're doing a cryptocurrency fundraiser through like the Manny Pacquiao Foundation. So like, it's a really cool way to see like people. Sort of get into crypto, not to buy drugs, but to send support to a charity for a good cause.
yeah, and last week they published our trees. Did you see that?
Oh
So
yeah, I told them they got to get in touch with Mr. Beast. Yeah, they're doing the trees thing.
yeah, so you can put there like $17, and with the interest that that generates through DAI, they plant like 10 trees for like every dollar that is generated.
Yeah, I know it's really interesting,
That's
and I
so
think
cool.
Bill Patoot or whatever and Mr. Beast they did a thing where he did like 20 million trees planted with fiat, and I wanted to do the
Wow.
math on how much the transaction fees lost and how many trees could have been planted even with like a 3% 5% transaction fee. Like that's a lot
And
of
it's
trees that weren't planted.
yeah, and it's ongoing. Like if it continues to generate, you still have your capital and you're making a donation.
And this is what I would consider one of those like passive charitable things. Like you set it, forget it, and you're for in perpetuitably
Yeah,
donating to a charity. It's almost like a infinite write off.
yeah. I
I'm
mean, there's that is like one of the use cases that I said, like, this is really cool for charity, and also that it's so transparent and you can see like how
Yup.
everything is going. And the other that
There's
I
a
like
big reason
is
why the Red Cross isn't coming out with Red Cross coin, by the way, because they don't want you to follow that ledger.
yeah, that's one, and the other one that I seen recently is money pool. I mean, so many people play the lottery, and so many people play Lotto, and how do you call it in the states, Powerball, and whatever. And you lose 100% of your money, and the chances of winning is one in millions. And you have this also now pulled together, which it's like a lottery. Everyone puts in money, it generates interest, and one of them gets the prize. So it's like a lottery where you don't lose your money too.
That is, yo, that's crazy. And you know what? I look at that with masternodes and anything to do with staking because you get to have your cake while you're staking it and eating
Yeah,
it too. Like it's,
yeah,
and this is something that kind of, and I think this is why the legacy financial industry looking at it is like it's a scam because they're so used to their scam. Anything that actually works without having any scam in it has to be a scam. Like they can't figure out how it works without ripping off people every end of it and being sustainable. How are you sustainable without scamming everybody like we do?
yeah. I mean, the transparency part and
I think the
having
transparency part is what's scaring the industries from adopting it the most. They don't know how to be transparent. It's not a profitable business model for them right now.
yeah,
How they make profit is the silent transactions that they do.
and it's also expensive. Like if I go back to when I was in the stockbrokers, like we used to have audits every month, every 3 months, every 6 months, and every year. Depends on who wanted to make the audits. Big audits were once a year, like for example the Mexican SEC or the Mexico Central Bank or whatever. But what you need to do there is stop the operation, bring some people out of the operation, take out reports, start processing the reports, bringing all the information, integrate information from lots of systems, accounting, finance, back office, treasury, whatever, and then you start reporting. So all of that job takes hours or days just to start having a report of how the state of the company was, a screenshot at that time. You cannot have this transparency and real-time reporting like you're having in blockchain technology.
Yeah, they just have to figure out a new business model that they can use this for, right? Like being, I mean, even like using like prediction markets or crowdsourcing, things where I could bet on where the allocations will go for the charity. Now I can donate to a charity and bet on the fact that they're actually going to use it, where I can now make money on giving money to a charity.
Yeah.
And using that
And then
oracle could help allocate where the people donating it actually want it to go.
yeah.
So there's actually like
And
I mean it sounds fucked up, I know, but there is a business model that if you give to a charity with this technology now, you can actually benefit individually. Not just the Red Cross profiting from charity, but you who gave the dollar to the Red Cross can actually benefit from that dollar given.
and that's also something else. Like I mean, all of these are still very early use cases, developments, and whatever. But look at this bigger, and like you said, like everyone knows that like, it's gonna overtake or bring more people into financial services through all of this technology and whatever. But if you look at the bigger picture, like what is the biggest form of human organization in an area? It's a government, and taxing is done supposedly for services, but most of them is for bureaucrats or for politicians. So imagine all of these systems being complete transparent and you having control of where are you going to send your funds, what are you going to fund. If you want, people can actually vote with their money instead of them just having the money and no transparency and no reporting. So if you can have through all of this technology, when you actually pay those taxes, a decision of what this money is and incentives. Like if you're a good politician and then you're actually working, which is a very few, you're going to have all these bonuses and incentives. If you don't, I mean, it's going to be withheld and it's going to be paid back to the people.
Yep, and it's funny. McLovin just mentioned Bravo. Bravo Coin's one of the sponsors. They're not even a real sponsor. I just put them up there because I love Bravo Coin. Just for the record, guys, they don't pay me to be a sponsor. I just like by default made Bravo Coin a sponsor because they're awesome. But you could use like even Bravo Coin to review your politicians and earn crypto based on that. Like there's so much potential now It's like when people tell me I don't how to make money, how do I make money? I don't know how to make money. It's because you're looking at the fiat end of making money, and that is a very one-sided battle. You'll never get, the chance to really win the game in fiat. But when you start to look at cryptocurrency, how do I make money? You have to be a paraplegic lazy zombie to not make money in this space. It's literally ingrained in its genetics that it's self profitable. Like, you could have your Bitcoin, you could put it on Celsius, you can make interest, you could have Dash or Divi and stake it and earn dividend. There's so much. You could write a blog on Steam it and earn. You could go to Bravo and write a review. I mean, you could literally just post like you do on Twitter on SoMe.social and earn money because people liked what you said. If you're alive and you do anything in crypto and blockchain, you will make money.
Yeah, I've been using, now that you say about that, I've been using lately. I've been a user of Steemit for 4 years, and I stopped using it like about 2 years ago, until I discovered now Apex. A friend told me about Apex, and it's an Instagram that posts on Steemit and pays you. So what I post on Instagram, I can post it on Apex and at least earn $1, $2, $5 if someone likes it, or if it goes viral, $20, $50.
Yeah, thank you for telling me that, because I used to use an app called InShot, and InShot was very similar to what you're talking about with Apex, where it's like Instagram for the Steam blockchain. And
the app, I mean, it's very early, but the app is very well done. I'll send you. I mean, it's still private, but I'll put you in contact for them to send you a link.
That would be cool.
And it's an Instagram, and it interacts directly with Steemit. I mean, once you post there, it posts on Steemit. It does
My
everything
question
automatically.
is, did they create their own token? Do they have like a Steemit media token?
Yeah, they have you handle it through Steam Engine.
Okay, cool.
APX.
SoMe kind of does the same thing. They forked Steam. Bravo did the same. They forked Steam. Steam is a very amazing blockchain to build with.
There's also a Russian version of Steam that came like 3 years ago too. It was completely a fork of Steam. Even the page, it was the same, only in Russian.
Wow.
I don't remember right now the name. But yeah, they created a coin, and in Steam Engine you can exchange the coin for Steams, and then withdraw it out to your Steam wallet. And your Steam Engine is connected to your Steam.
I use Partico. It's almost the same thing. Partico created Partico on top of Steam, and you can earn Partico and then redeem it for Steam and cash out through like BitShares to Bitcoin, and from there you can buy goods and services with your crypto.
Yeah. So yeah, as you said, you have to see like where can you bring more value for this to develop, and even if you don't know anything about it, I mean, look at all the local communities, do a meetup, go to a meetup. There's so much information right now. You can look so much things in social networks. In YouTube, there's so much good conferences uploaded. When I started, there wasn't so much information as you have right now. You have so many good conferences. You have so many good speakers. You have, for example, Andreas.
I was literally just saying, all you need to do is listen to Andreas Antonopoulos from like day one till today, and there goes your Harvard University college course on Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's right. There's so many people like taking advantage of, my crypto curse $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. Like you said, like listen to Andreas for 10 hours and you're done.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to pay Harvard to learn about Bitcoin. You can go to YouTube and get it all for free. And actually, you can't even pay Harvard to teach you what you can get for free from Andreas.
And that's free. And also, you have that money, you can go to his Patreon and donate to him and interact with him. I mean, what else do you want? Or go to conferences. Unfortunately, he won't be able to be this year in Blockchain Line, but I hope he can be next year, and I want him in the main stage.
Well, I'll wrap things up with a concept of, I've been talking to a bro of mine, Jerome, from Bits and Tokens out there at the Miami Blockchain Center, about VR conferences. So people can become speakers and presenters, and people can attend your conference, the Talent-Land conference, but in a virtual reality. Not just saying with the headset, but even just opening your phone or going on your computer and being able to walk around the digital land and go to a digital speaker who like
Wow.
Edward Snowden, he can only call in with Zoom. Well, in VR, he's just a screen in virtual reality, and I can walk around. There could be a crowd of people that can talk about what he's doing on stage, or so VR
That would be cool.
conferences. I think are going to be probably 2020's most undervalued concept, and in 2021, people are going to be like, "Damn, I missed the VR conference boat."
Yeah,
So
we
so
don't have that
maybe
yet,
so
but
maybe
sounds
look
interesting.
into hosting a VR
Yeah,
version of your conference, and I can put you in touch with the man who can build it.
yeah, that would be cool. I
Yeah.
mean, for to build something like that, like we also do streaming and we record all of our
All
conferences.
the streaming and all the stuff will be right there in the virtual world, so they don't miss anything. Every stage they can
Awesome.
walk up to and stand in front of that stage and listen to that speaker, or walk away and go over to the booth and talk to the booth operators.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, it's real, and it's almost like you're physically there at this point. Like the technology for VR is ready for VR conferences, but I don't think conferences are ready for VR.
I mean, it's also I need to start promoting and for people to get to know that, but that could be a very cool experience to.
It's crazy
Uh,
because different communities that you mentioned. There is a huge VR community that only live on the internet in a VR environment. It's huge. We engage in the internet in a two-dimensional screened way. A huge populace is now starting to evolve into that VR 3D environment of engagement. So there's
into
like
Decentraland.
yes, yes, exactly, bro. And that's happening. Decentraland beta, open baby, let's build there. Let's
Yeah,
do this. I own Mana, so I will say I am a little biased in Decentraland because I own land, but like I only did it because I had faith in it. I believed in it. I never really
yeah,
pumped
me
it or
too.
dumped it or anything, but like just sat quietly and waited for them to do what they're doing.
Yeah, I also hold Mana, and it's one of my favorite. We have also Mana in Pizzo. You can
I
exchange
do
it again.
visualize a Talent-Land, Decentraland VR conference venue. Facts. And it
That's
will
what I
be
want to do. I also want to
I will
bring those
put you
guys
in
in.
touch with the man who can do this. He could probably build this by the time April comes around. That's how good he is.
and and also, I mean, for example, for projects like Decentraland, they can not only be in blockchain land, can also go to gamer land, to creative land. We also have those lands, which would be awesome for them also to get to know and bring more people into the Decentraland.
I just got a message I had to reply to. All right. To wrap things up, I always like to ask my guests: do you have anything that you wanted to say? Is there anything that we didn't get to talk about, or do you have anything you want to ask me?
Well, not ask you, but invite you over to Blockchain Land to be there for the event. I hope we can finally meet and have you over there, and for you to see like the whole huge event and what's going on.
Bro, I have
Uh,
not been so. I really need to figure out if I can get to this because, like I said, it's a burning man for technology, and I don't want to miss out on this. And I'll tell you what, the biggest selling point because I'm such a nerd is the potential to be involved in something that will be put in Guinness World Book of Records. Like that alone is the attraction. Like holy crap, that's awesome.
yeah, that's something that we work on every year to have those Guinness records.
Yeah, that's an
Yeah,
amazing opportunity for people to be a part of, and
yeah,
I feel like other conferences for sure have the potential, but they don't have the vision or the community
yeah,
care to do that. And I think that it's amazing that you're saying like this is our talent land, this is our talent land, but this is your event, and
yeah.
this is like more credit due to the attendees, which I really respect what you're doing. So I promise you
Great.
this. I'm going to try absolutely my best to make sure I'm there. I have to
Awesome.
figure out travel, stay, and stuff, but I actually know
I can help you
one.
out with that.
Okay, well, hook me up with some of the sponsors. Maybe I could work with a
Yeah,
sponsor. I could promote the company, and that could help with flight and travel, and
yeah,
that would be
and
amazing.
also, yeah, I hope to see you there. It would be great, and also anyone that wants to go, as you said, like if you compare it to a U.S. conference or a Europe conference, it's so cheap. It's from the 13th to 17th of April. Talent Dutch dash land is a page. I'll set it up. You can look me up in Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram as Jose Pimpo. Also in Steemit.
Yes, check out his team, and the name of the website is in the title of the podcast. So everybody watching, the link
Okay,
is right there in the title of the
okay,
podcast.
awesome. And also, if you have, like I said, if you have
Oh,
an
you didn't
early
even
stage
mention this.
startup,
I wanted to mention this shit, bro. You have the dude from MythBusters speaking. You have
oh, Adam
Adam.
Savage, he's gonna
Holy
be there in the
shit,
main
Adam
stage too.
Savage and Max Kaiser in the same room. You have
Yeah,
to get them on a panel. Adam Savage and Max Kaiser, they have to be on the same stage together because they'll be at your conference.
yeah. Adam Savage is also one of our main
Bro,
speakers,
I'm not
and I
gonna
saw
lie.
that you
That
have
is
also
actually that's got me so excited. Like this is me remembering how excited I was when I saw his video.
and you have a Decred tattoo.
Yes, sir.
They're also one of the sponsors. The Latin America Decred community is gonna be there.
Shout out to
And
Marco Pierre
you know
and the
what's
fam.
awesome? They're also gonna. I also invited them to an alternative financial system panel, because you know how they sponsored through a proposal in Decred.
Yes, exactly. Hey
They
guys,
did a
should
proposal,
we
they won,
sponsor
and
this?
they're
Yes.
sponsoring Talent-Land with a proposal. So
That's how I got
also,
this tattoo. This was a proposal. That was a fucking proposal.
so that's what I want people to know. I want people to know that all these things that you want, like you said, you want a new job, you want an income, you want financial, you want to get into a cool startup, a company you want to build, you want to. I want everyone to know about all this stuff that you can do in the crypto world, which is relatively new and most people don't know about. But there's people like us living in this world and living in this economy completely.
I'm doing it so people can look at me and, oh, if he can do it, I can do it. And that's
Yeah.
true. If I can do it, you can do it. And I am doing it. All right,
Well,
Jose, I won't keep you any
well,
longer, bro. I know you're busy.
see you in Jalisco.
Talent-Land, Mexico, April 13th through the 17th, guys. Go and check it out. It's Talent-Land.mx. And it's very affordable. Like, it's so affordable, you might be embarrassed that you didn't go and you went to Consensus in New York
Yeah.
City instead. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, guys.
I mean, these are some of the companies that sponsored last year. I mean, so
You
little.
got
But
eBay? That's the first one I saw. What? Asus? Okay, Uber. Okay. Wait, what's that H? History Channel? You got the History
yeah,
Channel?
History
on
Channel is
there?
one of the main sponsors. The Latin American CEO, I think, is going to be over there too.
Oh, yo, that's crazy. See, what's funny? I thought about the History Channel having a cryptocurrency, like, moments where they have, like, because crypto moves so fast, it's almost like it's 100 years old. There's so much history in this economy or in this industry or in this technology. The History Channel actually has a huge potential for, like, a great mini doc series.
That's something that we want to do. Uh, it's
Look
a
at him. I'm
project,
reading his mind. I'm reading his mind. This is awesome. All right, Jose,
but we
Talent-Land.
want to do a documentary film about Bitcoin in Latin America in the event and other events.
Yeah. So there's more and more reasons for me to be at this event. Like potentially 70,000 people. It's Burning Man for technology. How can I not go, guys? Maybe
Yeah.
with the support, of you viewers, maybe I'll be there and I could help you guys experience the venue and the event from the man on the ground perspective. And if you
Yeah.
can go there, let me know. We'll create a group chat, and everybody that's going to Talent-Land, we can create a group chat, and we can all hang out and sort of do our own little thing when we get
Yeah.
there together. So if you're watching, if you're going, if you want to hang out, hit me up. And if you live in Mexico and you know where to get some good mota, hit me up.
And also, if you have a community, like I say, early stage startup, if you want to be a sponsor, if you want to be a speaker in a panel, if you have a media channel and want to be part of our media or people that go out, Luke Rukowski is also invited. Now that I mentioned the media, if you want something, contact me. We have still spaces for speakers, for panels, for sponsors and communities and startups. If you're also interested in another land, There's also some Bitcoin and blockchain companies that tell me, hey, more interested in being in business land because you have Citigroup as a sponsor there, and you have the banks, and you have the fintechs and institutional, and we're gonna have the Mexican Stock Exchange. So there's people like, hey, I'm more interested in being in business land or in developer land, or you can be more than one land. But yeah, if you want more information about the event, being part of it as a community ally, startup, sponsor, speaker, look me up. And thank you very much for inviting me, Ken. And hope to see you soon in Mexico.
Thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show. This has been an amazing fireside convo. I've learned a lot about the event and the Mexican crypto culture, and I'm excited for the event, man. Talent-Land.mx, guys, check it out. Let me know if you're going, please. That way we can organize something together. And as always, the chat is now in your hands. The conversation is now in you. So drop your comments in the comment section below. Let me know what you think of the topics that we've discussed. And I will meet you in the comments to keep the conversation going well after the podcast ends. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And thank you, McLovin, so much, bro. I can't wait to read this letter. I really can't. Bro sent his cult leader a letter. And this is probably my favorite sticker in the universe right here. Where is it? I just had it. Dude, really, McLovin sent me a Bozak sticker.
That's really cool.
McLovin, I'm McLoving this. Thank you so much. And if anybody else wants to send me anything to open live on stream, the address is on Twitter, or you can DM me for my address, and you can knock on my front door and just ask me to smoke a blunt. I don't care. Everybody, thank you so much. Have a day.
Thank you.
Shout out to the sponsors of the podcast, MonarchToken.io, the complete crypto solution. Monarch Wallet is now available for Android, iOS, and desktop devices today. Do you want to learn how to mine crypto? Well, all you have to do is visit cryptomining.tools for profitable crypto mining information today. The Divi Project, that is diviproject.org, your one-click solution for staking and masternodes. Earn cryptocurrency using social media platforms like SOME.social, SOMEE.social, New Era Social Media. Get paid to write reviews, like reviews, comment on reviews. Visit bravocoin.com and get paid to review. Available for Android and iOS devices. bravocoin.com. CoinFlip, the world's best Bitcoin ATM. Better service, better fees. Better visit coinflip.tech today. Shout out to the sponsors of the podcast, MonarchToken.io, the complete crypto solution. Monarch Wallet is now available for Android, iOS, and desktop devices today. Do you want to learn how to mine crypto? Well, all you have to do is visit cryptomining.tools for profitable crypto mining information today. The Divi Project, that is diviproject.org, your one-click solution for staking and masternodes. Earn cryptocurrency using social media platforms like SOME.social, SOMEE.social, New Era Social Media. Get paid to write reviews, like reviews, comment on reviews. Visit bravocoin.com and get paid to review. Available for Android and iOS devices. bravocoin.com. CoinFlip, the world's best Bitcoin ATM. Better service, better fees. Better visit coinflip.tech today. Shout out to the sponsors of the podcast, Monarch
Good idea. That's probably something that